So James Gunn's announced his slate for the first chapter of his new beginning. Let's just have some fun with it. I'm going to have some fun with it. I've got a stack of comics, but first of all, let's get out of the way the stuff that's already been done. So you've got Shazam coming up next. Then you've got Flash with Ezra Miller. Then there's Blue Beetle. I know there's not a lot going on about that at the moment, or not a lot of, forward look at. And then you've got Aquaman 2. So that's kind of like all the stuff that he's kind of got to deal with before he gets his, and then everything from there has got his stamp on it. So I'm not going to be talking about any of that. It's all out there now, and to be fair, I think I'm among a lot of people that just kind of want to get all that out of the way and see what he's going to do and get on with it. Let's have a talk about it after the scroll. Bonjour. So James Gunn, first thing he's done is announce, or one of the first things he's done, I'm not going to do this in any kind of chronological order, is Creature Commandos. He's going to do an animated series of this. Now these characters, this is from 2000. It was like an 8-issue mini-series. And basically a guy resurrected from World War II, put into... This is... It was written by Timothy Truman, who, this is kind of set in outer space with aliens. Am I reminding you of anything? This is going to be an animated film. And it's a group of misfits fighting in outer space against alien hordes. Does that remind you of anything? I know he's been... he's very enthusiastic. What I will say, he's got great intent, very well intentioned, the man, and he's obviously very enthusiastic, and he does seem to have a genuine love for this stuff. That's one thing I will say. But aside from this, is my overarching thing, which really I should leave to my final comments. But I'm just going to put it out there right now, and that might explain why I've got some. And I think we all deserve to have doubts and reservations about what him and whatever his mate's name's going to do. I was going to say Zaslav. Is it Zaslav? Anyway, what they're both, mainly James Gunn's going to do with this slate of stuff. Because really we only know it for Guardians of the Galaxy. And the first film was great. The second film wasn't. And the third one's not out yet. And now he's got the keys to the kingdom. So I think we all deserve to have a little bit we all deserve to have a few reservations here about what he's doing, because this first one, this animated film of Creature Commandos, okay, I mean, and also Weasel is in it from Suicide Squad. So, all right, and I know that wasn't too bad. The second one that he did, it was all right, and he done Peacemaker, and the TV show, and that was very well received. I didn't watch it because I'm not a great lover of that shtick. I'm just really not. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I think that the Deadpools of this world, even though the first two films did work, I think they run out of steam. I think the Suicide Squads and the Boys and all this stuff, it runs, for me, runs out of steam so quickly. I think they're a one note song, and once it's been sung, move on to another song. Don't give me series 2, don't give me the sequel. Let me have fun. You have fun with it, and I'll have a laugh. Then after that, move on to something else. But I can't help thinking that James Gunn's just doing this as it's an easy in. It's just like Suicide Squad in there, or Guardians in any other name. And I've just described it. It started off in Weird War Tales in the 80s. by some different creators, and it changed into the modern, and then it was in the New 52, and you know, it had Eric Frankenstein, the Bride of Frankenstein, the werewolf. It had a mermaid character in it, which I expect is going to be an androgynous kind of thing going on. So the one thing we cannot forget here is the modernity of it, and we're going to get into a bit more of this, because the next thing, the other thing is, and I'm not doing this in chronological order, by the way, the next thing is in around about the same time Creature Commandos was coming out, I think a year before that, The Authority. Now, 24 years ago, this was box fresh, revisionist deconstruction of a superhero team. You know, you've got a Superman character in it, you've got a Batman character in it. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this. It was Warren Ellis, one of Warren Ellis's best, and Brian Hitch and Paul Neary, who did the artwork in it, went on to do the Ultimates with Mark Millar, and we all know how that turned out for Marvel. But this was a great story. The Superman and Batman, the Batman character is the Midnighter, and yeah, they're both gay. Now, back in the day, you know, as Jenny Sparks, another character in it. Now, back in the day, that was quite, I wouldn't say controversial. I don't think anyone was moaning about it, but Warren Ellis, being Warren Ellis, just threw that in for no reason at all. And I don't know how that's going to come across now. I can't help thinking that, like, why have they picked The Authority and just plucked that out of obscurity? Because it is an obscure one, and so is Creature Commandos, and it's almost like they're leapfrogging the Justice League. They're leapfrogging what Marvel did, which was spend 10 years assembling the Avengers and making it up to that crescendo, which DC have been so far behind, and Warner Brothers been so far behind, that it's almost like they've given up at this point. I believe that they've just given up on the holy trinity of the DC universe, which is Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman, and then everything from there, well, you know, whatever that the trinity is, would have been at Marvel, whether it's going to be Captain America, Iron Man and maybe Hulk, you know, for the Avengers. I can't help thinking that they've gone to the second, or, you know, not the phases of Marvel I'm saying, but they've just skipped all of that major stuff and gone into all the also-rans so they can muck about of it or make it very modern. Yeah, and I think this is they're just two really weird choices, rather than go for that some heavy hitters. You know, talking about the Flash and Aquaman and all that is pointless, because that's all the also-rans, unless he is keeping them on, Ezra Miller and Momoa. But then surely that's going to make the rest of it look stupid, of the main characters. So from Authority, which is just this, you know, the deconstructed suit, it's been done. It's been done. Now it's all been done. We've deconstructed it enough now. So then he says he's doing Superman Legacy, which I believe he's basing on. I mean, they've been putting up this picture. Now, if they're doing this storyline, which was an awesome storyline, because he says about Grant Morrison doing the All-Star Batman, it was the run he's based this on. This is basically like Superman dying. Lex Luthor gets his way, and he admits to, you know, it's almost an Elseworlds story. Almost. It's just set over there, again, like a revisionist deconstruction of, well, not deconstruction so much of Superman, but he has to fly into the sun to save, you know, Luthor sets it up so that he has to fly right into the sun, and it kicks off his metabolism too much, which means that he's slowly he's slowly dying. So he admits to Lois about it, and I can see him doing that. But it'd be a weird, if they go all the way with that, that will be a weird start. But anyway, we haven't got enough information. But starting with Superman Legacy, as they're calling it, well, we don't know enough yet. We don't know enough, and a huge amount of that is in the casting. Now, one thing I haven't got any comic references for is the Supergirl. But all I know is that Tom King story with her on the alien planet, just my pure personal opinion now, that weren't great. That weren't great. And I know James Gunn has announced it as a sci-fi, a sci-fi film. And he's quoted as saying Supergirl is going to be more brutal and effed up. Do we want to see that? I mean, I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do really want to see a brutal Supergirl, but what we do know that's come before is that modern Hollywood needs to make female characters powerful by making them like men. So brutal and effed up, to me, is making her strong and powerful woman. So anyway, let's see where we go with that. But the most interesting that we know the most about is if he's going to go for this Grant Morrison run. This was a very interesting run. It was a great run. Frank quietly artwork as well, the same as that Superman image that they keep showing. I don't know why they're showing the image, because I can't imagine they're doing the All-Star Superman, the All-Star Batman by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. Maybe, but they didn't riff off of each other at the time. This was really interesting because basically Dick Grayson takes over from Batman. This is after Batman has died, and Batman's son Damian is Robin. He can't be Batman. He's not old enough and he ain't good enough yet. So Dick Grayson has been Nightwing. He comes back to take over the mantle as Batman, and Damian Wayne is Robin. And they were great stories. And obviously with Frank Quitely doing the artwork, it was great. Again, it's the weird and wonderful stuff. I mean, I think the guy's name is Mr. Pig in it. The main villain in it is the Professor Pig or something like that. And I can see James Gunn being drawn to just to stories like this. I can see why this storyline has piqued his interest. I mean, just by maybe by particularly like covers like this, you can see why he's gone for it, and what he's done with Guardians and what he's done with Suicide Squad. Will it suit Batman? Are they already? Which is interesting. If they're going to do that, are they already? What's his name's Matt Reeves' Batman. He's already saying is Elseworlds. That's not the DCU anymore. That's fine. That's good. That's fine. And the Joker. That's all over there. So are they saying, which is interesting, just throwing it out there. So is this going to be a younger Superman, which I'm not averse to? I did a video about Cavill being. I still do think they're stupid there. I think there was one more film to do to wrap all of this up. All of these films that are left over, all of these, I think there's a lot of loose ends there. But he might be successfully drawing a line under it, or we still don't know yet. But like I say, it's just a bit of fun to kind of see what he does do. And we're all, if you're watching this video and you're listening to me this far in, then you must be interested in it, and or the comics, or both, like me. But I wonder if he's going to do a Bruce Wayne Batman. Because if he is, why choose the all-star Batman and Robin to quote? Don't know. you know, maybe he's ready to do a younger Superman. Let's see. Now the other ones on the list. Booster Gold, again, he's a loser from the future. Booster Gold, who uses technology, and again, that is this deconstruction of superheroes again, isn't it? It's a loser man. So, you know, there's more question marks over all of this. I've really got my, you know, the Lanterns sounds great when he says it's going to be like true crime. You know, that can say a lot of things, can't it? It can be a science fiction true crime with the Green Lanterns. I suspect that by saying there's going to be a load of Green Lanterns, he's saying there's going to be the main two. I suspect there is going to be a load of them, and they are going to be a big old diverse bunch. They're going to be a big old diverse bunch, and we're going to see a whole range of them. Dare I even say, a whole rainbow of them. Let's just see how they get on with it. He's calling it Gods and Monsters. Now the only other thing that raised my eyebrows as high as they could go was Waller, and the exec producer on it is going to be Crystal Henry, who did that atrocious Watchmen series. It was absolutely atrocious. It's one of the worst things. Just literally one of those kind of race baiting, gaslighting, horrible things that was just all agenda driven. This is just for me, and I don't usually go there, but I'm going to go there with this because Watchmen was atrociously racist. Racist? Put my teeth in how racist. Dressed up as some agenda driven, wet dream. Didn't like it at all, as you can probably imagine by now. Anyway, and Jeremy Carver, who done Doom Patrol. Now that's fair enough. There was a series, maybe the first series was all right, but again, not my cup of tea. But again, you can see where he's going. He obviously liked the Doom Patrol. It's going to be Waller and the Peacemaker Brigade or Peacemaker Team, whatever it's called. Like I say, I didn't see it because it isn't my thing. Maybe it should be. Maybe I should take a watch before I kind of cast a critical eye over it all. But Crystal Henry, yeah. If it's anything like Watchmen. Paradise Lost, which is going to be, he's described it as Game of Thrones. You know, it's going to be set on Themyscira. With all the, you know, pre-Wonder Woman. So, all right, fair enough. I don't know enough about that. Again, you know, we have to wait and see with that because there's not enough to go on. There's not enough to go on. Yeah, don't know where they're going to go with that one. Gods and Monsters, this is all called, by the way. This chapter 1 he's announced, but you've probably seen the video by now anyway. And the last thing is a Swamp Thing film, which they already done they'd done a film years and years ago, which obviously was of the time. It wasn't very good. If you've seen it, I don't think many people are going to disagree with me. And they've done a TV series. So he's saying that'll be in the DCU, but there'll be no one else in it. But that is kind of connected to a couple of, you know, it's all connected. It's a bit like the Creature Commandos. I mean, that's got the shade. The new 52 comics. The Creature Commandos were part of Shade, which is I have got to read it because I am not a big DC Comics fan, by the way. And it's Superhuman Advanced Defense Executive. They operated under that. So not back in the ones I showed you. They was just there, and it was just kind of like a bit of a sci-fi war romp. You know, plucking them from World War II into the future kind of thing, which I think it worked. To be fair, I enjoyed it. But with G.I. Robot and Weasel, and you know, I mean, you're going to have apparently they're going to have Dr. Phosphorus in it, the Creature Commandos. So he was a Batman villain. So again, he's gone for which is what my comparison was with this latest tranche of Marvel crapola is where they've gone for swapping out. You know, they changed it to the MCU. So they're swapping out the legacy characters, and also alongside picking up some of the characters that don't sell, like Ms. Marvel. You know, they're going to be bringing out the Marvels film. None of these comics sell, so why they think they're going to make great films, I don't know. What they're missing, just quickly, I'm going to go off the tracks for a little bit. What they're missing at Marvel and here, I think, is that when you go for the weirder characters, that's fine. But the character like Blade, who never had, before the films come out, never had his own suit, was a popular character within the comics he was in. The Guardians of the Galaxy, they weren't a massive A-list top of the shop seller, but they were popular. They might have only had their one comic, but they were popular. And it went on for a long run. And before that long run, when they modernised it, I think it was Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning actually, but I could be wrong, so I'm sure you'll correct me in the comments if I am. But before that, they would just turn up sporadically, but they were popular. What they're confusing that with now is people, you know, characters like Ms. Marvel, whose comics don't sell, but they have to force it on us because we need to like it, we must like it. And apart from Batman and Superman in this lot, you know, they really are going for the B's and the Z's and up to the Z-listers. So anyway, but let's just see. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it all. He has said that storytelling is always king. So, like I say, we have got to keep our hopes up, I think. He has got good enthusiasm, but I just hope that it's not too much for him to take, as in, you know, producing, directing, writing. I think he's writing the Creature, or he's already written the Creature Commandos. He's halfway through writing the Superman film. You know, he's overseeing everything rather than, you know, so who's overseeing him? Because if it's all going to be one man, if it's all going to be another Zack Snyder again, or it's all going to be, you know, sometimes they just need reining in. Great to have the enthusiasm and the imagination, but I think it just all needs reining into a cohesive whole. Otherwise, you lose. I think you lose sight of everything as you're in one of them, creatively. But let's wait and see, because it's going to be a good couple of years yet before they roll out all the crap that they've got lined up that's already been done. I mean, if they hold on to the Flash any longer, you won't even recognise the actors that were in it when they were on the red carpet at the premiere. So anyway, on that note, I will bid everyone adios.